Thanks everyone so much for joining us tonight on your Sunday night. We've got a packed open call for you with the usual awesome Marie from BSL, who's here to sign for us. And the tech team, we've got Ned, Kay, Peter, and we've got Woody, Luke, and myself. I'm Lizard, and I'm here to run through the open call with you. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen, hopefully. Here we go, folks. So, topic of tonight's call, upgrade democracy at Restore Nature Now. This is the overview of the open call. We are going to be running through the final Restore Nature Now bits and talking about what next, the upgrade democracy intro and the all-important outreach to link the two. And we're hoping to finish in time for the football, because we know that that's important. So thanks for Kimway's awesome song, The Wild Things, playing on the entry. That was supposed to play at the last open call, but we had some tech issues. Hope you enjoyed it this time. We've got lots of nature noises to talk about tonight. In fact, the first nature noise coming up is the bird song. Some of you might remember from the big one, we had a lovely few minutes of silence while we had the bird song playing at the big one for biodiversity die-in. Well, I'm pleased to say the bird song is coming back. We're bringing that beautiful mixture of species, the sounds of the dawn chorus coming to London for Restore Nature Now. So we're inviting all of you lovely rebels, if you'd like to download the bird song again to your phone, there is a link coming up in the chat for you to do so. The links will all be provided in a follow-up email, so you'll be able to copy and paste that into your phone and download whichever song, bird song you prefer. And we invite you to play that throughout the March Assembly, the March and the Rally, and listen out for some special instructions to play it at specific times. While we're on the topic of birds, we've also got the origami birds, which are now taking flight from letters to the earth. And you can download and print at home your very own origami paper bird. And you can fold that up. First of all, before you fold it up, actually write your letter. It gives you instructions. It says, what does nature have to say? Take a moment to connect with the wider web of life and allow another species, natural element or ecosystem to come to mind. It might be somewhere familiar that means a lot to you or something that you care about. What message do they have for the human world? Take on their voice and write your message. So you write your message in the center of the bird's body, then you follow the instructions on the origami, you fold it up and you end up with a beautiful origami bird, which will be strung up if the weather is dry in Parliament Square and then delivered on to a very special recipient after the event. And if you remember the pink boats from the big one, it's a similar pink bird message on a piece of paper, very simple action to do. And you can also do that from home and bring your bird with you. Talking of things that you can do at home, if you can't make it to Restore Nature Now, and you're just here tonight to find out about Upgrade Democracy, please do check out Digital Rebellion and their special page dedicated to support from home, things that you can do to spread the word for Restore Nature Now, including another link to the origami birds. Thank you so much, everybody, sending in your pictures of what you have been doing at home, getting ready for the march. It's been amazing to see all the crafts and the paint the streets and the banners and the hats, the fish hats and the blue plaques and the everything coming through has been absolutely fantastic. So well done, everybody, and thank you. And we can't wait to see you in the streets in all your nature glory. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Okay. So the final really important bits of information that everybody needs to know. We've got a fantastic map with all of the markers on it. In a second, I'm gonna stop sharing this screen and open up Google Maps and just take you through a couple of the key important bits and pieces on the maps by way of a short demo of how to see the different layers on Google Maps. But let's start with arrival. In fact, before we even get to arrival, as you head towards the assembly areas, there are two marches. One is in Park Lane, is the full march, and the other starts assembling in Whitehall, and that is the short march. That is an accessible route for people who don't want to travel the distance of the full route. So if you're arriving in Park Lane, please be mindful that Hyde Park Corner and Marble Arch are likely to be very busy tube stations. So if you are planning to come into we'll go through the blocks in a minute, but if you're coming into the water or the land block, the advice is to please use Bond Street or Green Park and follow the back roads to find your way to Park Lane. If you're coming on a coach, well done everyone for getting coaches organised and booked. It's amazing. 27, I think, or maybe 30 now, the final count for the coaches. Hundreds of you coming from all around the country. You followed the instructions and got all booked. And we know that the final drop-off information has been waited for patiently. We are still waiting for guidance from TfL. So the current wisdom is, please do speak to your coach operator and the coach coordinator. So all lead passengers should be in touch with the coach coordinator directly, and they'll help you out with the last final bits of information. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second and just bring up the Google map, we hope, and then I'll go through some layers with you. 1 second. Just a request, if anybody's got their microphones open, can they just press mute? I've just got a couple of bits of noise coming in. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Okay, here we go. This is the Restore Nature Now interactive map on Google Maps. Hopefully you can all see that. I'm zooming in so we can get a closer look at everything. When you might come to this page, the way that I tend to find it is to go to Restore Nature Now and go to the march and the route map. That's the quickest and easiest way to get to that page. Then when you're on the route map page, click this link here for the interactive map. This is an embedded map and you can see a lot of the detail, but it's not as easy to operate. The toggle panel isn't as easy to operate as if you go to click the interactive map link there, and you'll end up at this interactive page. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to zoom in to Park Lane, and I'm going to turn off a couple of layers. I'm going to turn off the block references for now so that we can see. Here we've got the sections of Park Lane colour coordinated, so that we've got the first block is the woods block at the front. So anybody coming dressed as a tree, you might want to head to the woods block, or somebody who's wanting to meet up with the Woodland Trust might head to this area. And then the second block, a little bit further along, is the water block, and that's the front of that block there. The third block is the land block, which you can now see, and the final block is the air block at the back. So if you want to meet up with people and you're trying to coordinate where to go, we've got this handy little block reference layer, which I'm now going to turn back on. And we've diligently used Google Maps to go up and down Park Lane and count the number of lampposts there are. And all of those lampposts will have a number on it. So this is the way to organise and meet up with the people that you need to meet on the ground. So if you're trying to meet your friends and you're at lamppost number 21, you should be able to see that, let them know where you are, and that should be nice and easy for you to meet up. There are also really large letters of the alphabet on high up on the lampposts, really visible for people to see. So you should be able to find each other, and please do use the map to figure that bit out. I'm going to turn those off again for a second and just zoom back out. Then we've got the next most important bit of information. As I said before, you've got the how to travel to Park Lane from Bond Street using the back streets there. That's water and land access routes. And again, how to get there using Green Park Station for water, sorry. So those routes are both detailed on the map. And then once we've done our assembly, we will be setting off on the march. The march route is in red. And along the march, let's find the layer, are the steward points. So each of those represent a steward. So if you have any issues along the route, you can stop and speak to a steward with a radio, and there will be stewards coming with you along the march as well. But that's an extra sort of layer of detail that you might need to know. And of course, our favourite layer, it's the toilets layer, marked with the blue dots. You can turn that one on and off as well. So I'm going to turn the steward points off to make it a little bit easier to see the toilets. And each toilet, when you click on it, tells you a little bit of detail about where it is and what type of toilet it is. So there's automatic, public toilets, temporary toilets, and toilets with accessible as well. So they're all marked on the map for you to hopefully find your way for what you need. Final stage is we've got the welfare and accessible. So they're purple and orange on the map. And then the all important stages and screens. When we get down Whitehall towards Parliament Square, you'll see some screens. They will broadcast the same audio and visual that is on the main stage in Parliament Square. So if the march is still backed up at Whitehall and Parliament Square is full, the main stage speakers will be relayed out on large screens down Whitehall. So don't worry if you're still heading down Whitehall at the time that the speakers start, because you'll be able to see them on a giant screen. Okay, I think that's all of the layers covered. So please do find your way to that map, and it will help you find your way around on Restore Nature Now. And I'll stop sharing that screen now as well and head back to my slides, hopefully. Oh, here we go. It's always a bit. Things are coming to town, got a message to give to all mankind. Gotta wake up and don't be blind. Gotta turn this musical around. The bird and the bees know we I haven't done that, so I don't know who's done that. Please agree, the people of the earth, daddy want their word. Turn this planet around. The flora and the fauna want to speak for the dawn.
It is you, Liz. It must be playing somewhere because I've just muted you and it's come through your sound. Have you got a tab open somewhere? You'll need to unmute again.
Has it stopped now?
Yes.
The wild things are so keen to come to town, folks, that they are just interrupting the call with their music. Great song, really catchy. Didn't mean to play it, so sorry about that. Let's try again. Get back into the slides. Here we go. An open call isn't an open call unless you get some sort of weird tech thing happen, right? Okay, so we've done our map. We'll get into a bit more detail for the map, which I didn't cover in the demo, but it's so that you can find your families. Children activities are going to be right at the front in A1, so right in the beginning of the woodland block with the number and letter lamppost A1, and there'll be an accessible section also at A3 with BSL interpreters of the rickshaw, which is going to be at that section as well for speeches. There'll be extra area and assistance for accessible. And the families are at the front so that they can take up position in Parliament Square, and accessible folks can get to the viewing areas at the Cenotaph and Parliament Square first. Worth saying also that the route has step-free access throughout. There is a quiet area along the route marked on the map if you need a moment of calm, and as I said, accessible toilets are on the map, as well as mobility charging points. And there is an accessible team, and there is first aid at the back of the march and a welfare team at the Cenotaph. Okay, so getting into the blocks again, as we know, there's woods, land water and air, and there are some fantastic banners being made by the Arts Factory, which show the front of those blocks, and we're really keen that we can invite as many people to have a go at holding the banners at the front of those sections as they'd like to, as we can. So everybody gets a chance to hold one of those front banners and be in a photograph at Restore Nature Now, and we get lots of changing faces at the front of the banner. If you'd like to help out with banners, pennant holding, or prop chaperoning, there are 4 WhatsApp creative crew chats. They'll be shared in the chat now. Please feel free to join one of those if you can give a hand with flags, banners, all that sort of stuff. It's going to look awesome. The programme, there's going to be speakers on the rickshaws during the assembly. So from 12 o'clock, we will have the rickshaws fired up. We are asking people to get there early if you can. From 11:30 means that we'll have less of a bottleneck at 12, and the road closure can happen at 11:30 if we've got enough people there. So the rickshaws will start at 12. They'll continue right the way up to 1 o'clock or 12:45 when the march sets off, and then they'll continue through the march. There'll also be face painters, bubble blowers, it says disobedience. That's a typo. Disco obedience. There'll be disco obedience. There won't be any disobedience. It'll be disco obedience. Red Rebels, colouring and origami birds, as you've seen. Keep an eye on the socials to share the programme this week, and watch out for a celebrity video coming up to help last minute mobilisation. Oops, I didn't mean to show you that either. Okay, have you got a role? Final slide for getting ready for Restore Nature Now. We've got a final call, sorry, for stewards. We were aiming for 1,000. We've got 500, nearly 500 stewards, and there are 2 trainings left. So if you're feeling like you might want to take up a role at Restore Nature Now and you're up for being a steward, there's some fantastic training. You'll be put into a small team with people with experience, and you get to help others enjoy the march safely and with all the information that they need. So those are the 2 trainings, and there is a registration link on the XR UK website, which is also going to be added in the chat now. Stewarding is brilliant. I love stewarding, and God bless all the stewards. Thank you for all your work, because I know many of you in this call are stewards, so couldn't happen without you. One of the other roles remaining is outreach, and we've got Luke on the call who'll be coming up in a bit to talk exactly about the outreach at Restore Nature Now. There is also a link for joining outreach. But before we go over to Luke for outreach, it's time to introduce second speaker, open call fab rebel. It's Woody with an Upgrade Democracy introduction. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand over to Woody. How are you doing?
Hello, howdy folks. Wow, I'm really quite blown away by the level of planning and detail in that. And now I feel like I'm going to let the side down with absolutely no level of detail whatsoever. So upgrade democracy. What is upgrade democracy? And what has it got to do with Restore Nature Now? So this looks amazing. I cannot wait for next weekend. I'm confused about the letters on the lamppost already, because Liz has just said they're going to be up high, but I think I'm putting them up, and I'm quite short, so I think I need a ladder. So I'm going to take 1 action point from this for that. So marches. What have we achieved by doing marches? Are marches going to give us the outcome that we need? Are they going to give us the change that we need? Why are we doing Restore Nature Now? And what is next? What is upgrade democracy? So we're going to be marching alongside our allies. Restore Nature Now is an opportunity for us to unite on where we agree rather than dividing on where we differ. These people that we will be marching with as Extinction Rebellion, from NGOs and from all walks of life, are our allies, and we would like to have conversations with our allies. Luke later on is going to talk specifically about outreach whilst we're there at the march. I want to just talk about when I joined XR and stepping outside of my comfort zone. When I stepped into my first action, I realized now that I didn't step outside of my comfort zone. my comfort zone had been grown by those around me. It was by Extinction Rebellion, those members of Extinction Rebellion who did that. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about talking, having conversations with our allies on the march. So what can I tell you about the detail? Upgrade Democracy is from Friday, August the 30th at 10 a.m. to Sunday, the 1st of September at 5 p.m. It is an occupation. It will last for 3 days. We are asking people to bring stuff to sleep in. So, and I can tell you now that the stuff that you will need will be tents and they will be sleeping bags. We will be outdoors. That is the plan. I can't tell you the location today. The reason I cannot do that is because we are on an open call. So there is going to be a facility for you to sign up where you will be the first to know. We will let you know where, and you already know when it is. This is going to be. This is an XR action. This is not a coalition action. This is XR with no compromises, and there was a mission statement for designing this, which was to put the words "upgrade democracy" and our solution, our third demand, citizens' assembly, onto the front page of tabloid newspapers and into the evening news on ITV and BBC to make this a big story. So our target, which I can tell you, is our broken system. That doesn't give away the location. So what can we do? What am I here to share here? We're all looking forward to going to March next weekend, but there's going to be a whole lot of stuff that we can do next weekend to start planning ahead for August. Firstly, we're all going to be together. That's an amazing thing. We normally only get to do this kind of thing when we have big scale rebellions or the like. So this is a time for us to meet with others and to make plans as well. So there are things. Firstly, there is already a Telegram chat for Upgrade Democracy. Please join the Telegram chat. All details will be released in there. Secondly, this is a call from our action support, our wonderful action support people. The whole of the occupation, we haven't done anything like this for a while. This takes a lot of stewarding and it takes a lot of action support and well-being. So we're asking for Upgrade Democracy, putting a shout out now. Can everyone please do one shift in action support? It's a 4-hour shift. That I'm going to come back and remind you of that. So that's one thing we want people to start thinking about now. There's already the start of a messaging pack for this, which we will share the link. Look, Kay's already ahead of me. Thank you very much, Kay. So there's a messaging doc. What it doesn't say in there yet is some things that we can do between Restore Nature Now and before Upgrade Democracy. And there are 3 key things to this. The first is a Paint the Streets campaign. This is going to be very much a means of mobilizing, getting people into action. So these could be our allies that we meet at Restore Nature Now. Let's take them out. Let's take them out postering. Let's take them out stickering. Let's take them out. Let's do that Paint the Streets thing that XR can do so beautifully and do it well in what's going to be a really busy period. We're going to have the run up to the general election. Then we're going to have the formation of a new government after the general election. And then we're going to have, well, what next? Because whoever you vote for, the government gets in, right? So we know that the general election isn't going to give us the answers we need. So this is a great time for us to be doing that Paint the Streets campaign. Secondly, and there will be a pack coming out with resource materials on how to do that. And we've got budget to print as well, so that you will have stickers, posters, stencils made, and there will be opportunities for large scale billboards and other exciting ideas. Secondly, there will be another pack coming out in advance. They'll all be in the Rebel Toolkit that Kay's given you the link for. So if you can save that link, then great. I'm going to come to that question, Kate, because that's an important one. So I will be getting to that. So there'll be another pack about the letter writing campaign. Here we're going to encourage adults and children to write letters. The target is the broken system, but we're going to make a suggestion for who you can write to. We're really keen, especially with children, to encourage children to write as if they were writing from their favorite species, whether that be a species of plant or species of animal. So, and a subject matter. So it's a little bit different from the origami birds, but the origami birds connect with this. This is going to be very important when we get to the end of August. So there'll be a pack to explain what is needed for the letter writing campaign to work, because we're going to hand deliver these letters to power. That's Extinction Rebellion's promise. There will be a number of imaginative ways in which we're going to do that. Not least of all will be a very brightly coloured giant post box at the occupation itself. Third thing in advance, again, there will be another pack coming. This is quite separate, but this is an open invitation for every local group, regional group, individual rebels, especially if you're involved in creative stuff, but you don't have to be creative to do this. Work together as teams. We do it together, not do it yourself. And that is, we're going to have a massive unfair ground. So we're going to build an unfair ground where none of the games are fair, but there will be a means by which all of the games can become fair. And we're going to use them as an allegory, as a metaphor for what we're talking about when we're upgrading democracy. So that, don't worry about the detail now. It's going to come in a pack. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. There'll be lots of things for us to do. In case somebody's watching, Action Support need you to sign up to do a shift. Have I already said that? 1 4-hour shift. That'd be great if everyone could do that. So these conversations we start at RNN continue up until and after the general election. The timing of the election was not in our plan. I'd love to claim it was, but actually it's ideal. We're now going to have more opportunities to mobilize and recruit people before upgrade democracy, thanks to where the election falls. And one of the other things we're going to do at the occupation is we're going to attempt to have the largest ever UK People's Assembly. It's called a mass assembly. It's good, isn't it? Thank Lizard for that one, I think. So that's on a Saturday. That's 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock on the Saturday. And we'll also continue after the targets to have 5,000 people involved in using deliberative democracy together. That's the aim. That's the goal. So it will also continue after upgrade democracy. When are the 4-hour shifts? We will put in the Rebel Toolkit how to sign up for shifts for the stewards. So somebody asked a great question about overnight. So yes, this is not next weekend. This is the end of August. It's the last weekend in August. And yes, there is an opportunity. You do not have to be there for all 3 days. We'd love people to come for all 3 days, but for accessibility and also to get the widest number of people there possible, you can come at any time and leave at any time that you want. So we do want to encourage people to come for the day. The location is in the southeast of England. The location is not in London. And we will encourage any from any other movements, anyone, anyone who cares about our democracy, anyone who cares about our failing political system that's just going to deliver us another government that are already not promising to make the changes we need to combat the climate and ecological emergency. And the last thing on my list to share is Action Sport call out. Please do a shift, 4-hour shift. Hopefully I've said that enough time. I think we're going to have time for some questions. So I don't know when they fall, because next up, I believe Luke is going to talk about the outreach that we're going to do next week as we lead into upgrade democracy. Luke?
Hello. Yeah, we have the perfect opportunity with this march. The people attending RNN are already concerned around nature. This is the perfect audience for us to be outreaching to and mobilizing from. But we want people to turn up to upgrade democracy, and we want that to be as big as possible. And we want every rebellion or rebellion-like thing to be as big as possible. We really need people to help out and make that a possibility. And it needs everybody to help out with that. So that's why we've come up with the 5-chat challenge. We're inviting all rebels to take part. Basically, it's very self-explanatory. You have 5 chats with people who are at RNN, who are not obviously XR, and just chat to them. It could be any type of chat that you want, but keep in mind we kind of want to build up that connection with them and have that help change their perceptions of XR so people can really connect with us and kind of correct the narrative that we're we're just a bunch of crazy people. We want to really help them feel that human connection between us, and we're not that dissimilar to them. And then help gently and encouraging someone to take their first steps after Restore Nature Now and come to upgrade democracy. There are many ways that you can kind of have these chats. There will be leaflets available to help you. There will be loads of leaflets that you can be able to pick up from at the beginning of the march. And there is a list of ways that you can kind of start this conversation listed on the Rebel Toolkit. We've come up with some guidance on kind of how to do the 5-chat challenge, but you really don't need to have any training or any expertise to do this. We want to make sure that everybody can take part. You can ask questions like, what brought you here? Do you think a march is going to solve the crisis alone? And try and share some NVDA successes, like at Insure Our Future, where we had the insurance companies rolling out some of the insurance options for them. So there is sharing some successes is always good, and just sharing your positive experiences with XR would really help. Just have that shared connection, I think, is really important. And then, of course, then slowly building up them up towards the upgraded democracy. But that's only part of it. This is a challenge. This isn't going to be easy, but it's easy enough, right? We need to broaden our own understandings of our comfort zones and do something. This is a slightly odd thing to do, but I think it's going to be really accessible for everyone to do at least 5 conversations and chats with other people. It's just 5 leaflets. That's not that many people. You can do this in any way that you want. You can talk about your concerns around the climate crisis. You can talk about anything, really, but it's accessible, and we really need people to do this. We really need more people to turn up to our events to make them really successful and bigger. So just having 5 chats with the attendees at Restore Nature Now will be really helpful. These are not the general public. This is like a soft audience. They're already concerned about the environment. We have such a huge opportunity to really outreach to some of the most successful outreach that we can possibly have by just talking to people on the march. And hopefully that should be enough to kind of change people's perceptions of us and get their comfort zones expanded a little bit as well. And principle 2 of XR is that we set our mission on what is necessary. And it's kind of necessary that we need more people at our events and to grow. We really do need more people. That's always the thing. We always need more people. Not every conversation will lead to a sign up, and that's fine, as long as they've left with a more positive experience with XR. And if they get to sign up, then that's going to be an even better thing. However, if you're super interested in outreach and want to have more than 5 chats, go crazy, have more than 5 chats. But also, we also have some clipboard crew and some slightly more trained crew who will just be doing outreach the whole time, signing people up with the clipboards, going where there's high footfall, and really have those opportunities to have those more in-depth conversations that are really hard to do, and I really understand. So we'll put those links in the chat soon. learn how to volunteer for us, and some of the outreach training that will be on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, from 7:30 to 8:30. And there will also be a briefing on the day if you do sign up to be a clipboard crew outreacher person. Yeah, if we all, there's loads of people on this chat. If we all had a conversation, all 213 of us have 5 conversations, that's about 1,000 people having we've reached to who we wouldn't have reached before. And that is a big number. And even if only half of them turn up or sign up to a thing, that is still way more people. And that would be really helpful to build momentum and do what's necessary and really upgrade democracy. Yeah, that's it. I think I'll pass to Ned, I believe, for some questions. But yeah, do the 5 chat challenge. It's really easy.
Just while you're doing that, Ned, I'm just going to come in quickly and say I have got just a couple more slides to show folks. Just read the flyers that Luke and Woody just referenced as well. So is that all right if I just jump in quickly before the Q&As?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, lovely. Sorry, folks. Thank you, Woody, and thank you, Luke. Just wanted to show off the beautiful flyers that are going to be available to pick up and down Park Lane for your outreach needs for those five chat challenges. And lamppost F18, I saw somebody ask, where is XR going to be based? We're going to be all up and down. Hopefully the leaflets will have made it to kit pens that are up and down Park Lane, where you can put your flags, and flags will be dropped off there so you can get them out amongst the blocks. But F18 is a sort of particular, it's the middle of the Park Lane spot, so there'll definitely be someone there with flyers if you need to go and find some to take with you throughout the march. And that is the beautiful flyers. And then there, as we mentioned, the Rebel Toolkit already, I put the link in there, but there are also some gorgeous stickers which Woody has got ready for us to spread the word. And as you can see, they have the date on them and the QR code as well. So those should help you empower you with your outreach. Were you able to see those?
You're not sharing.
I've got honestly tech problems. I'm saying look at these beautiful things and you can't see them. Here they are. Can you see them now? Can you see that? You can see them. I love open calls. I really do. Here are the beautiful flyers. You can see they have the date on them and the QR code. And here are the stickers that Woody has made. You can pick these up and down Park Lane, and in particular Bay F18. And Woody, don't worry, you don't need a ladder. We've got you covered. Thanks. Over to you, Ned, for Q&As.
Thanks, Liz. I'll keep you spotlit just in case there's questions you need to answer. Okay, so I think you've answered the flag one. We've got a question. How do we know what block to start at, or is it up to choice?
Oh, yeah. So you are welcome. The whole theme for the whole march is nature. So you can go wherever you like, in whichever block you feel like. But obviously, if you are aligning, particularly if your heart is aligning with the bee, go for the air section. If you're feeling more of a fish, go for the water section. Just go where you like, but don't worry if you end up in the wrong block, because it's all, nature is woven throughout the whole thing, so you can go wherever you like. It might be that stewards ask you to go to a particular area where there's like more of a gap to help manage the pedestrian flow on the ground. I hope that answers that.
Thanks, Liz. Where's the shorter route for disabled rebels?
The shorter route is from the corner of Whitehall Place, and it joins Whitehall, which is where the full march comes along Whitehall. So if you meet there at 1 o'clock at the corner of Whitehall Place and Whitehall, and that is marked on the interactive map.
Thanks, Liz. One from Lisa saying, what if lots of groups choose the same lamppost to meet at?
Yes, so in the event of popular lamppost spots, the stewards will help guide you to less popular lampposts, hopefully. There is also a contingency of feeder roads that travel eastwards from Park Lane. So if Park Lane gets full, we might ask people to queue up in the roads that are, if you're looking at the map, they're on the right-hand side, that's east of Park Lane. And that is because the closed carriageway is the east, so it's the carriageway that travels southbound. That's the carriageway that's closed. So it makes sense for us to queue up on the east of Park Lane. And this is just another note. Thank you for the person that asked that question to remind me to say, if you're meeting people before the march, please don't meet in Hyde Park. Please come to the roads to the east of Park Lane. That is because the carriageway, the northbound carriageway, stays open throughout the whole assembly, and that makes crossing that road quite difficult. There's actually only 3 crossing points. If you do find yourself on the wrong side of the road, or if you've been dropped off there by a coach, please use the designated crossing points. There's 2 pedestrian subways. Please use those. Don't try and cross the traffic to get to Park Lane. And again, if you can arrive on the other side of Park Lane to Hyde Park and don't use Hyde Park, that would be fantastic as well.
Great. Okay, you've answered about the blocks and where to start, or is it up to choice? Will there be an XR HQ or base in Park Lane on Saturday?
So there are multiple spots for XR. XR are doing a lot of the stewarding and a lot of the choreography of the banners. So at the front of each block, you'll find an XR creative choreographer. Someone from Outreach will be there as well. So it'll be easy to find XR people if you need some XR help. And like I said, at lamppost F18 is where the leaflets are going to be dropped off first. They're probably going to have made their way all up and down the march by the time we set off to make sure they're in everybody's hands. There are 300 organisations now signed up for RNN. We're not going to be the only ones outreaching. So there's going to be quite a few groups and organisations distributing flags and leaflets and so on. So F18 is where you'll always find someone from XR if you need to, or at the head of the march. But I should think we'll probably be spaced out and pretty obvious to find at the front of each block.
Great. Sammy and Ian, you've had your question answered by Pickles. Fiona, is there a badge or sticker that we can wear to show to others we are part of XR while we're on the march?
Oh yeah, great one. Come as XR as you possibly can. Hopefully you would all have some way of showing yourself as XR with the XR logo, if you can make yourself a badge or a patch. If not, there's going to be loads of stickers, probably some patches that you can pick up, and flags. There'll be lots and lots of flags. So come to one of the assembly kit pens and pick up a flag that you can, so there'll be XR flags. If you've already got an XR flag at home that you've used before, please bring that. I'm sure many of you will have patches and badges and so on, but if you've not got anything, come to the front of each block and pick up an XR flag. And yeah, XR stickers will probably be in abundance, I would hope.
Great, thank you. Wandering Tree Ferret, you wanted a contact for XR Disabled Rebels Network. If somebody's got the email address and they could post it into chat for Wandering Tree Ferret, or if not, I'll get it at the end and I'll post it in the chat for you. Joe, is it expected that we would stay in our blocks when we get to Parliament Square?
Great question, Joe. No, the beautiful thing that we hope to happen when we get to Parliament Square is all nature blocks are going to meld into one beautiful mix of land, air, trees and water. So it will be a cacophony and a muddle of all the types of nature in together. So no need to try and stay in your block once we get there. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be beautiful, and that's going to make it hopefully all the easier to do the outreach that we need to do, and bring people along. Because although we might know that marches don't work, they do work for great outreach, and they do work to present XR as beautifully creative and beautifully approachable, and exactly the kind of movement that is talking about what we need to do. This nature march says on the front page of their website, let's make the next election about nature. But what we all know to be true, if we're holding XR principles and demands and principles and values and our demands at heart, is that the next election won't do what we need it to do, and that we have to push for an upgrade to democracy and get that citizens assembly. And this is a great opportunity to talk to people and get that messaging out there. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to show just how creative and clever and awesome XR is, and that everyone should join.
Brilliant. From Lee, is there a quiet, low noise block or zone in the march?
Right, so this is going to be a little bit trickier. The march is only an hour long, and we've got rickshaws and drums to contend with. So if you're looking for somewhere quieter, I do recommend heading towards the back of Air. And I know that's not brilliant to have a sort of a quiet block at the back. There is an accessible block at the front. And that is going to be a little bit away from the rickshaw in the front section, but we can't guarantee that it's going to be quiet, because it's the front of the march. There tends to be quite a lot of energy and a lot of noise there. So but there is a quiet spot along the route, so if anyone's feeling overwhelmed, have a look at the map. There is a quiet spot which is hosted by Wellbeing and the Disabled Rebel Network crew. They'll all be there to help out if you need to have a little break from the noise. Again, the noise levels will depend slightly on how many people turn up, because as you can imagine, the more people there are, the bigger the spaces are between drums and rickshaws. So hopefully there'll be some quieter pockets, but it is likely to be noise throughout, I'm afraid.
Thanks, Liz. I think, Helen, that will have answered your question as well about will it be quiet enough to have the 5 conversations? Okay. Yeah.
I think also that just seen another question coming, is there a drumming block in each group? So the plan is for there to be a drum block in each group, a drum group in each block, but that will again depend on numbers. If there's a smaller turnout, we might merge some of the drum groups together, so there might only be 3 or 2, but the plan at the moment is to have one in each block. And yeah, my friend just recommended me in the chat to remind everybody who needs them to bring earplugs or ear defenders. Those drums can kick up a good old noise.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Will mobile phones stop working at the march?
It's a good question. I can't guarantee they will work, because the way the networks work is that, yeah, on demand, they will know that there's a large number of people coming, and hopefully they'll have provided extra coverage, but you can't guarantee it. So I don't know, fingers crossed, I'm afraid. But that is one of the reasons why we've gone for extra information on the map to try and help people to find each other. And I would, if take a screenshot of the map and save it on your phone, so that if Google Maps doesn't work, you've got it on your phone as a picture, and that way you can navigate around without having to use data. And the more people that do that, the less data there is used. And yeah, a reminder as well, take lots of pictures. Please everybody, take lots of pictures and upload them to social media with #RestoreNatureNow. But maybe you might need to wait until you're home to upload them, because the mobile network might be busy. But I would think it should hopefully work. And the stewards will have radios, so even if the mobile network doesn't work for stewards, there'll be a lead steward with a radio, so we'll all be able to have comms with the people who need to organise safety.
Great tech tip there. I didn't quite understand this one, Mandy. Is there a special section for small groups? Someone mentioned this to me.
So there is what we might be referring to there is the fact that there are blocks within blocks. I'm just going to bring up my screen to remind me these blocks. I think maybe if I just do a quick share again, this might help. Here we go. So this is the spreadsheet for working out, this is sort of the back of house stuff I'm showing you. We've got the 4 blocks: woods, water, land and air, the letters of the alphabet, the colour, the creature, the region, the drum group, and then we've got these also includes blocks. So the family and youth block is in woods, water pollution in water, animal groups in land, and then in air there's sort of a bit of a catch-all of education, faith, justice, health, climate and science groups. And then there are the organisations listed here. What we did when we started to organise this was we had about probably 80 organisations when we started doing this and putting them in alphabetical and saying which block they like to go in. And then the organisations, the list of supporters just started growing and growing and growing, and it was too difficult a task to keep up with it and keep putting them in. So we put some in as a guide. So if you're looking for, you know, Earth Watch, they're in land, and the Hunt Sabs are in land, the seals are in water. It's fairly kind of obvious, hopefully, where people would be. And then these sort of blocks within blocks to help each other find each other, and the same with the regions. But none of that is prescriptive. If you're, you know, wanting to come as a dandelion and go in the sea, that's absolutely fine. There's no harm in that at all. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Liz. There's one from Eleanor that says, is the assembly just a march meeting point or a climate assembly?
Oh, great question. It's a march meeting point. It's nearly a mile long Park Lane, and it's an hour-long assemble of the groups that are about to march. There will be speakers and music and activities, but there's no people's or community or citizens type assemblies, if that's what you mean. There's no political or activist type of assembly. It's just a getting together of all the people before we set off.
Great, thank you. Philippa says, we'll have to find our coach at the end. So mobile phones will be essential, and you've said about them potentially not working. So there was a question as well in chat that came up about finding coaches at the end. Can you give any advice on that?
Yeah, so the coach coordinator will be in touch with the lead passenger right up to the day about being picked up from your coach. The coaches are probably going to be in a couple of different areas. Embankment is one. Some coaches are opting to return back to Park Lane. There is not a lot of space in and around Parliament for pickup. And there are going to be a lot of people and the end of the road closures, and so probably some traffic congestion to deal with. But the coach drivers and the coach coordinator and your lead passenger will have up-to-date information from TfL, and so listen for updates from your lead passenger and your coach company on the day. We've tried as best as we can to give as much information as possible so that people are as informed about that as they can be, but ultimately it will be down to information that happens on the day. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Liz. Chris, you'd asked about the blocks and the rhythms bands, so I'm hoping that one's been answered for you in terms of where you should aim for. John asked if the Labour Party is invited to speak to their policy commitments.
No parties have been invited to talk. It's no political parties. It's because of the electoral regs, and because it's all parties need to up their game with in regards to the nature commitments that they have. So this is no parties talking.
Great. Many of the organisations involved in Restore Nature Now, will they be involved in the same way with Upgrade Democracy?
That is another great question. Woody?
Yeah, so Upgrade Democracy is an XR action. It will not be done as a coalition action. We will be inviting others to join us on our terms, on our demands. So whether that means would we see the RSPB joining us and doing it? Wouldn't it be lovely to think so? But what we certainly could do is have members of the RSPB joining us. So it will be open to all in that sense. So I think that's up to all of us to get I love this 5 chat challenge, so I'm going to be practicing that. I'm going to try and do more than 5. I'm quite competitive.
Thanks, Woody. Rainbow's asked, will there be a die-in?
There will not be a die-in. There will be birdsong throughout, but there will not be a die-in. There will be Red Rebels, there'll be disco obedience, there'll be a climate choir, and lots of other things to see and do. But unfortunately, if you were a fan of the die-in, which I was too, it wasn't deemed possible to fit it in. So no die-in this time, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Lucy's asked, how long is the route in miles?
I have that information somewhere.
Is it on the map?
It is on the map. I hope it's on the map. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's on the map. Let's just bring it up now, see if I can find it. I know I've written it in the, I think it's in the assembly page on the website as well. Yeah, so the full length is 2.5 miles and the short one is 0.4 miles.
Perfect. Where will the climate choir be?
The climate choir will start at the short route at Whitehall Place and Whitehall, and it will march along with the short route up until Parliament Square, and then I believe they're heading to the front of the stage in Parliament Square.
Thank you. Louise has asked, will there be water refill points?
No additional refill points will be provided, I'm afraid, no, but there are some water points marked along the map. So hopefully you'll be able to find some before, and there's some some marked on the map. So fill up your bottles before you start the march.
Thank you. This is one for you, Woody, from Kate. If you can't camp out for disability reasons, this is up for Upgrade Democracy, will you be able to do single days?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Samuel's asked.
That before.
Sorry?
Sorry, this is Kate. I think he answered that at the time.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading from a list, Kate, of questions, so I can't see what's been answered and what hasn't. So Samuel's asked about finding out more about Upgrade Democracy. That will all be on the Rebel Toolkit, Samuel. So nearer the time, we'll all get messaging everywhere to the Rebel Toolkit, and all the information for Upgrade Democracy will be on there. There's a few outreach questions for Luke. Helen, even if we're not on the march, we could try and do the conversation. Well, that's Helen suggesting that we do the conversations in our local places if we're not on the march, in shops and on buses. Joe said happy to do outreach and leafleting, and I think Luke's picked that up. Great. I think that's all the questions. Fab. Wow. I think that's the first time we've got through all the questions.
Thank you, everybody, for bringing your questions, bringing your attention, bringing your love and rage to the open call. Thank you to the tech team, to Woody, to Luke, and I cannot wait to see you all in Park Lane next weekend. It's going to be fabulous. Thank you again, everybody. It's a huge, huge team effort. The Weavers, all of the circles in the UK that have put this together and working together with all the delivery groups. It's been a challenge that hopefully is going to bring out some fantastic moments next weekend. Thank you, everybody. Please go and enjoy your Sunday evenings. See you all again soon. Lots of love.